whilst it's absolutely lovely wandering around a place like this, I kind of feel it's incomplete without at least trying something to eat and drink. I know it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, but I'm going to go to one of the many catering options here. I'm going to go to the Episodes Cafe and select a cake and coffee. I'm sure it'll be delicious. Let's hope so. There are orchids everywhere. I love this lamp feature. If only I could afford it at home, but I can't. I could if I worked hard. I think this is going to be a good choice because you can actually sit in any of these beautiful central areas once you order something from the Episodes Cafe. But I just want to have a look at the cafe first because some of the cakes look absolutely awesome. This is truly bean to cup. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to be able to choose which cake or croissant to take. They just look so ridiculously beautiful. I mean, look at that chocolate croissant, striped with chocolate. Goodness gracious me. Or this pistachio cube. It's almost a modern piece of art. Chocolate brioche. Fan of caramel. Almost irresistible. A little moon croissant. And look at that. Is that a saffron and date eclair? I think it is. Never had one of those before, but it looks out of this world. But if you want to go for healthier options, look at this amazing fruit salads. Beautifully prepared. Absolutely gorgeous. The aromas are great as well. You can really sense that everything has obviously been freshly baked on the premises, as you would expect. Oh look, there's some caviar as well. Beautiful specialities from Europe. Lovely cheeses and hams. All your heart could desire. I'm going to try something, I think. It's almost too good to believe. And look, you can even sit in this central area, which is just magnificent again.
My name is Angeleska Sarika.
Both from my old home South Africa, which is wonderful, working here. What's it like working here?
It's quite an experience. It's very unique. We get to interact with many different guests of different cultures, so it's quite interesting and we get to learn a lot.
That's great. How about for you?
It's exceptional. We love it. It's beautiful. It's very diverse. So yes, it's quite nice. You do get to interact with a lot of people, different nationalities. You learn so much.
I would rate it as very luxurious, unique, and you can feel the royalty. So yes.
And who's the most famous person you've ever looked after?
Pep Guardiola, I think. No.
I actually don't know. The thing is, it's so normal to get to interact with them. There isn't actually a higher up one.
Okay, that's great. And I'm coming to Episodes Cafe. Is that a good decision?
It
Yes.
should be, yes. Hopefully we
Delicious.
don't disappoint. Yes, it's a wonderful experience.
I think you'll agree this is elegant opulence. Whether I fit in or not is quite a different matter, of course, just moving the flowers over to beautify the situation even more. I went to the cafe, I had a look at the display, and I know exactly what I'd like. The mushroom quiche for a little bit of Western flavour and see just how beautifully it's made. But the date and saffron eclair, because that's quite different to anything else I've ever had. I did think about having the camelcino, which is a cappuccino but with camel's milk and apparently tastes saltier. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stick with the milk that we all know and love. Now, of course, there are plenty of other choices on this gorgeous menu. There are special teas, even more coffees, anything you can really imagine actually. Manual brewing, mocktails, including a bean voyage with espresso, orange lime and jasmine tea. I have to say that sounds very nice. Chai latte, but dates palm smoothie. I could go on and on and on, really. I mean, the teas is just crazy. There are page after page of special recommendations. Same with smoothies and milkshakes. There's a lovely iced tea selection as well, even sparkling tea, which I have to say also something that would definitely appeal. There are also beers and cider, champagnes, classic cocktails, prosecco, so that's amazing. And in fact, this is not a menu it's just the drinks list. So it's just as well I went and took a look. I do like this. It's a lovely atmosphere. Okay, so fair enough. Here you're allowed to have tea, coffee and cakes, but if you want to have something a bit, more substantial like my mushroom quiche, which comes with salad, you have to move to the next area, which to be honest, looks very similar. Also beautiful, perhaps even more beautiful, and I'm going to be looked after thankfully by the same lovely ladies, so I don't mind too much the fact that I'm moving. To be honest, this entire place is so gorgeous, you couldn't possibly complain unless you're really miserable, which I'm not. Okay, I'm struggling with the chair. That's one thing they could help with, pushing you forward, because my goodness, these are heavy chairs. Now this actually I think is probably an even more spectacular backdrop, and actually it's easier to film. Always a distance between the camera and the plate can sometimes be a real challenge to film in these videos. Here it's going to be easier than on that smaller table in the other area. No idea why you have to move, but no bother, no problem. I've moved the flowers again. Flowers above me and flowers at the side. This is the fillet you've come to love and expect, right? This looks absolutely beautiful. I've got my saffron and date eclair, or pastry actually, it's more like at the moment, and they brought that with a couple of little biscuits and a date, and that is beautiful. I would have expected the quiche to come first, and the cappuccino as well, particularly in a temple of luxury like this, but never mind. Let's see what happens next. I think I'm going to wait and just resist the temptation to eat it until something else pops up, because this really should be the dessert, but perhaps not everybody thinks like that. The date and saffron pastry arrived at 10:56. It's now 10:58. Let's see how long it takes until I get cappuccino. Not very long. It's here. That's wonderful. Look at that. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. That looks gorgeous. Thank you. Sorry, one other question. I just wanted to check. I ordered a mushroom quiche as well. Just want to make sure. Is that coming as well?
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay, because I had that before the cake. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's on its way. Take a look at this cappuccino. This is presented as an art piece. Again, it's an unusual cup, but an area to hold so you don't get burnt. And it really is very, very pretty. So it took 3 minutes, I think, from the moment that the pastry had arrived. I'm happy again. So I'll still wait for the mushroom quiche, but I can now enjoy these little amuse-bouche and the date, which I think has also got a little piece of orange stuffed into it, with my cappuccino. Let's try the date actually. Not everyone likes dates, but I love them. And I don't mean the traditional type, I mean these dates. So sweet. Natural sweet, the best natural sweet, but I'll tell you what, like with a nice orange marmalade, the bitterness of this candied orange adds a dimension to the taste, it elevates it. And I like the residual sweetness of the date mixed with the cappuccino, which as you'd expect is perfect. A lovely creaminess, textured milk, and a beautiful, actually fairly mild coffee, but really again very, very, very enjoyable to drink. You can still taste the sweetness from the date, so absolutely no need to add any sugar. I've still got a little bit of filming to do. I would have liked to have the mushroom quiche first, but let's go for the date eclair. Who knows, perhaps they're not bringing me the quiche because I haven't eaten it. Oh, that cream looks amazingly luscious. I think they said it's got saffron as well, so I've got some more date here. Of course that will go very well with the coffee too. So the pastry is crispier on the outside than an eclair would normally be, but the flavour is fairly consistent. The cream, absolutely beautiful. It's kind of like what I call pastry cream, but to a high standard. And perhaps there's a little saffron in there. And then the dates add more texture, and they add that delicious natural datey sweetness, which I think is really a very unique taste. And then look at this, you've got the little Mandarin Oriental chocolate fan on top, so that unfortunately is about to disappear. It's actually Really lovely milk chocolate. Very tasty, even though a little small. Obviously it's just to decorate. Just on reflection, hope it's not camel's milk, but I doubt it. Alright, so the mushroom quiche has arrived. I have to say that looks absolutely gorgeous. Thank you very much. So the mushroom quiche eventually arrived at 9 minutes past 11, which really I think is a little off. I've said it enough now. Anyhow, I'm going to put my eclair to one side, which I had started to tuck into because it really is a dessert. And to be fair, let's take a look at this quiche. It's been nicely heated up. The lady did apologise for its late arrival, and just look at that. Ooh, mustn't slip off the side, but it does look fantastic, and it comes with a very nice side salad as well, which I didn't expect when I was actually looking at the display. Napkin on. I'm not going to season anything, just want to see what it tastes like. Knife and fork. I think we have to start with the quiche first of all. I have to say actually the pastry is beautifully crafted. It's kind of like plates all the way around, Plaits, rather than just a normal crust. But it's very nice. I can see plenty of herbs in there. There's a little dried tomato. Let's add a little bit more mushroom. So we have a nice big bite. You need to guide that towards my mouth. That is a complex mix of tastes actually for a mushroom quiche. First of all, the pastry has a lovely buttery flavour, almost brioche-like, but definitely pastry in terms of its consistency. And you can see that just above it there's a kind of little egg and mushroom quiche. It's very nice, perfectly seasoned, with a little bit of salt and plenty of pepper. You've got these lovely mushrooms. There's a whole mix. There's some oyster mushrooms, button mushrooms. They're really fresh, taste marvellous. Some herbs, but when I also had that little mouthful of tomato as well, a sun-dried tomato, it actually added a burst of flavour and sweetness and layers to this quiche. Again, it's nice when you can give superlatives, but you ought to in a place like this because it's pricey, and really that mantra of eating a little but eating well is often a good one. And now the salad. There's crisp lettuce. I think there's some pickled turnip, I recognise that now, having been here a few days. Carrot, radish, tomato again, different types of lettuce leaf, all mixed together. I'm going to mix them up a bit because it looks to me like there might be a vinaigrette, hopefully. Now let's dig into the salad. Perfectly balanced vinaigrette, French style, totally fresh salad. A little bit of carrot and the turnip. It's a great salad, really lovely. Very nice, thank you. And I'll get back to you later with a summary and let you know how much it's all set me back as well. My word, to be honest, it ended up really being a spectacular meal. I thought they would serve me a snack, but it's anything but that. As I said it the wrong way around, the eclair, it's really beautiful. It's so sophisticated, right up there in terms of great eclairs. But the quiche, well, that's just a different chapter in life. That quiche was the best quiche I've ever eaten in my life. That's what I would expect in restaurants in the UK with famous chefs. That you take something ordinary and make it spectacular. Too often that isn't the case, but it certainly was in that case. Oh, I didn't order that.
Yeah, I just would like to go you as a compliment to
That's
be
incredibly
received.
kind. I've been given extra coffee. What is it, actually?
This is the our gold cappuccino. You can see the draw of the our palette, right? And this is the gold. We put this and look
Wonderful.
purple, look like our palette.
It's amazing. And is that normal milk as well?
Yeah, this is normal milk, but actually we have the option of camel milk.
That's great. I prefer the normal milk, but thank you. Well, that really is a lovely gesture. But this has been really a lunch experience, and I've really, really enjoyed it, I'd have to say. So I was thinking of downgrading everything to a silver because of the, let's call it the date episode, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give it platinum, although there's one thing I don't know yet, which is how much does it all cost me? But I am in one of the finest hotels in the world. Remember, this building cost $3 billion to construct, and that was back in 2005. It's a truly exclusive hotel with rooms costing around about £1,000 a night. So I don't expect it to be cheap, but I'm sure that it represents great value. In fact, I know it does on the basis of the food, even if it's a little dearer. I've just drunk some coffee with gold leaf. Wow, the world is looking up. The background is so beautiful. I'm going to go stand up and do my summary somewhere else. The bill has arrived and it's 150 dirham in total. That is £31.54 at the exchange rate of the 13th of March 2025. Really, I would have to say, I think that was all Michelin standard, honestly. It was that good. So it was kind of like a relaxed 2-course light lunch. And don't forget, 2 cappuccinos effectively, particularly this beautifully crafted second cappuccino with that. And I think that that's pretty decent value when you consider where we are, £31.54. Yes, I know it's a little steep for a normal small Saturday lunch, but no, not when you take the quality into account and you take the ambiance into account, and also the service from the 2 lovely South African ladies and June from Bangkok in Thailand, who's been looking after me in this section of the restaurant. They were all stars. I'm really, really delighted with this experience. I'm so glad that I sat down in the hotel and experienced some of what the Mandarin Oriental Emirates Palace has to offer. You know, you can wander around the lobby, but you haven't actually really participated. This way, I almost feel like I've been a guest, and I certainly can't afford anything like £1,000 a night for a room. If you have enjoyed this and are intrigued by the hotel, then there's a link up here to my other film, which looks at all of the public areas in the Mandarin Oriental Emirates Palace. Thank you so much for watching. Salam, and I'll see you in the next video.